Stanley, ceasefire, you muppet!
What the fuck? Your division affiliation has been disavowed.
You muppet!
Disavowed. Warning. You are now on this roll.
And welcome everybody to another podcast brought to you by Ultra Super Mega. This week we have Locked On, a Tom Clancy podcast, episode 1. Very excited. I am Wilco. Here with me at the moment is Josho, as always. How you going, Josho?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. That's good. We'll skip too many introductions because I want to get right into this. But we've got with us this week friend of the Pokecast, Cal Heinrich. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, buddy. How are you? How's everyone tonight?
Look, couldn't be better. I had a half a day off today, so I am rested and recharged and ready to go again. So
That's just
excited.
code. That's just code for playing PS4 all afternoon, isn't it?
no, I haven't. I told myself I'm not allowed to play PS4 until I finish these articles, and I didn't write a single article. But I did play around with Photoshop, and I tweeted out this afternoon a little background that hopefully will go with our YouTube video for Locked On. So a little bit excited about that. I know nothing about Photoshop, but it came up okay. The font's terrible, but we'll play around with that over the years and years that we go. So, so what we're doing tonight, Locked On, we're basically covering all the Tom Clancy games. We're going to focus on the three major ones at the moment, which is Rainbow Six, The Division, and the soon-to-come Ghost Recon Wildlands. So, just basically going to give you a bit of news on each game, and then just have a bit of a general chat about each game for roughly about 10 minutes each, so about the half-hour mark. So this is a bit of a pet project that I've really been wanting to do for a fairly long time now, something to do with these three games, and in particular The Division and Ghost Recon, because two games I'm fairly excited about or sunk a lot of hours into. So very, very, happy to finally be able to bring this to you all. So every second week we'll bring it to you, so the off week of the Pokecast. Saying that, we've just got some news tonight, which means we'll probably end up doing a Pokecast by the end of the week. But it'll happen like that. When big news happens, we'll bring it to you on either podcast. So stay with us, subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends, all that kind of stuff. And keep it locked on. That's the worst I've ever done.
Wow, that's the worst tagline ever.
It is. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Just before we get into it,
I tried to make it sound good, but I couldn't.
It was terrible. We had some issues this afternoon. My Wilco's Chill Zone Twitter account turned into Locked On TC for about 2 hours before I realised I'd lost my original Twitter handle. I don't know what happened, but we
So
fixed it
are
up
you
on
blaming
the-
Russia? Are you blaming Russian hackers or are you blaming user error?
No, it's user
It
error.
has to be the hackers.
It's all the hackers.
maybe.
It's the Russian hackers.
I went to my analytics and I'm like, Wilco's Chill Zone does not exist. I'm like, bullshit. Like,
Oh,
shit,
no.
it doesn't either. So, on that note, we do have a Twitter account just started today, Locked On TC, as in Tom Clancy. So, follow that. It isn't dressed up at all at the moment. It has one tweet, and we will get it going in about 6 months' time, like we did with the Pokecast one. But yeah, get onto it. So, let's jump straight into it. Josh, so let's quickly get a background of you for the Tom Clancy games. You play a fair bit of Rainbow Six, and you carry me whenever I play, along with Aya, don't you?
100%. Pretty much, if Wilco's in there, it's me and Aya wiping the floor, and then Wilco's like, "Help me, please!
Yes,
I'm dying."
Give me my armor.
I play a lot of
both-
Rainbow Six. I've hit a bit
you've
of
got the game
Division,
on
but
Xbox and PS4.
yes. And soon, once I've got a PC, I'll have it on that too, because I am a glutton for punishment.
You are. So yes, like you were saying, you've played a little bit of the Division, but not a huge amount. That's why we've got Cal with us. Cal from
Yes.
Armed. He has dragged me through a lot of the games of the Division, and saved my ass a fair few times as well. So that's the two expertise that will be coming to you tonight, and all three of us are pretty excited about Ghost Recon Wildlands. So we've got you covered pretty well. And if I can talk Cal into it, he'll be on this show a fair bit, but we've got to talk him into it yet. So
Yeah, bending of arm required.
yes. So it's look, we'll go Rainbow Six first. Lots of big news. We were going to do this episode 2 weeks ago, but luckily we didn't, because pretty much everything's dropped in the last 2 weeks. So, Josh,
Yes.
what's this? We've got a year 2 schedule coming now for Rainbow Six Siege, and we've
Yep.
got some new operators. You've
Yep.
got a new season pass coming, and 4 new seasons. But then that's pretty much no more game content. It's just going to be looks like it's more seasons, more patches, and more operators.
Yeah, so they seem to have learnt from their last year's roadmap. Don't tell people that there's going to be new game features if you're not really planning on bringing them out that year. So last year they said that they were hoping to release a whole heap of new game modes, which we still don't have, but
And I think you will never see. Just
probably not. But, there's still hope. There's still hope.
No, there's not.
I mean, if the Cubs can win this, the Cup, I mean, there's hope. There's hope. But yeah, so...
Take us through these operators for starters, I guess.
Yeah, so along with the, what was it, 5.0 patch. So their patch is always a number in front of what season they're on, which is weird. But you get 2 new operators, Habana and Echo. They are part of the Japanese SAT counter-terrorist unit. I don't know what SAT stands for, but I'm pretty sure the T is terrorist.
Yep. Good guess.
So Habana has 3-speed 1 armor, so she's quick and fast, but can't really take a shot. Which Echo's got the reverse. He's 1-speed 3 armor, so he's slow, but he can take the hits, which is what you'd expect from a defender.
That's what I need.
Yes. So yeah, Habana's our attacker. She's got a gadget that is sort of a cross between Ash and Thermite. So it's a launchable breaching of sorts device that has Thermite charges in it. But one shot won't actually blast you through an entire wall. You'll just get a little window that you can peek through and kill people with. You can shape it by taking out charges, so you get a little slot or a little square sort of thing going on. And you get up to 3 shots with that shoots out 6 mini charges with this. Echo is probably going to be my favorite defender from here on out once I get to play him. His gadget is a little quad drone that can send out a sonic boom that disorientates the enemies.
Ooh, that does sound very handy. Doesn't it?
I've watched quite a few videos on this, and my god, I do not want to be up against this person, because I drink a lot when I'm playing Rainbow Six, and the effect when you're disorientated makes me feel sick when I'm not drunk. So this is going to be great fun. But this drone, it provides a camera feed to all operators, but you can't actually tag people, so you've got to be in a team with mics so you can call it out. But you can sit on either the floor or the roof. So you jump up and then you're on the roof.
In my case, you fall off the roof. Yep.
Yes. But it can only jump a little bit over one floor. So it can only go from floor to just above the roof. So you can jump it up through like a ladder well and see if there's anything there, and then you'll just fall back down straight away.
Okay.
So
Now,
there's that.
We're expecting them in February, is my understanding of it.
They're out now.
Oh, those ones out now.
Yes.
The next one.
Yes, this is the final lot of operators for the Year 1 Season Pass.
Yes, sorry.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry.
So you've got that, along with the new map that comes out, which is a Japanese-style condo on top of a massive skyscraper, so it's really fun when you're not paying attention and you walk off the edge of the building.
Yeah,
I've played on this map. I've not actually been able to use the operators yet, sadly. But yeah, the odd thing about this map is there's only 2 trapdoors in the entire thing. Normally you've got about 3 or 4. So,
yeah. Okay.
but it does provide some really good flow. I'm starting to learn where the cameras are, so watch out. Coming for you.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be getting on to give those guys a run fairly soon. I just got to get some time. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So that's.
I've just got to get my PSN back. That'd be great.
Yeah, good luck with that. So as part of the Red Crow update,
Yep.
Season 4. So yes, take us through Year 2, please.
So
that's what I thought we're on.
Yes, so Year 2 starts, I believe it was the 7th of Feb, or just after
7th
that.
Of February.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've still got your Year 1 Season Pass, you've got all that sort of business, but you can buy the Year 2 Season Pass right now for about $30-$40, depending on what country you're in. So you'll get 8 new Year 2 operators, same as the last one. So spread across 4 seasons and across 4 different countries, which are Spain, Poland, Hong Kong, and South Korea. I personally am very excited for the Polish ones for some reason. I don't know why.
You are a weirdo, yes.
It's got nothing to do with me being Polish whatsoever. You get 8 new headgear and 8 new uniforms, which is something that they've released in 5.0, is Ash, Twitch, and Capitao get basic uniforms where you've got Sledge, Thermite, and Capcan get elite ones, which come with little MVP dancers similar to what Overwatch does and those sorts of things, which is pretty cool, to be honest. You get an... That they actually look pretty cool. Thermite does a little magic trick where he lights his hands on fire. It's pretty sweet.
Ooh, fancy.
You get an Rainbow Six carbon charm that comes with it. So it's similar to the gold charm that you got if you're a Year 1 person, but it's carbon. And you get 600 Rainbow Six credits or 1,200 if you had the Year 1 season pass.
Now I didn't catch it, but is there a costume bonus if you not pre-order it, if you get the season pass before a certain date or before launch of the season?
If you buy it, I can't remember actually. I think I read something
sure
that
there is a bonus if you get it before February. There's a bonus outfit, I believe it is.
Yes.
So
you get a bonus, which
I didn't get the season pass in Year 1. I only came into Rainbow Six about halfway through, I think it was. But I'm very, very much considering getting the season 2.
Do it.
The Year 2, pass. Because, look, it's growing. The community's growing week after week. They're just getting more and more people.
Within a year, they were part of the esports league, so...
Yeah, and considering this game, I won't go into it too much, but we've got Game of the Year stuff happening with Ultra Super Mega, and I've nominated it for a certain award to do with the fact that it launched in December last year, and everything they did wrong for launch, and all of a sudden, here it is. It's one of the stronger esport games out there at the moment still. So
yes.
Yeah, look, very excited. So, do you want to quickly go through some esports league results?
Yes.
We'll move on to the division, I think.
So, with the release of the Season 4 DLC comes the end of Season 3. So, season ends, they give it a couple of weeks, then they release the DLC, give it a couple more weeks, then they start the next season of gaming. So, Continuum won the Rainbow Six Pro League Season 3 finals for the PC. They got themselves $30,000 for doing so. Playing Ducks came second with Gifu and Most Wanted in under that. I don't know. I'm assuming that's third and fourth. They just said this on the website. I literally copied this from the website. Whereas we go across to the Xbox One champions, which was Team Vitality, netting themselves 30 grand, with Team Supremacy 15 and Onslaught Esports and Excellence getting the 8,750.
Wow. If only I was that good.
I know, right?
I remember I almost got MVP once. But
Once.
yeah.
Almost.
I was up there. I got 7 kills in one match. Actually, Rainbow Six Siege is
that all?
probably the game I had the most success with streaming. I think I had about 20 odd viewers at one stage, but yeah, I'm going to get back into that. So I'm going to work on some artworks fairly soon to announce that I'll be streaming again early in the year when my chaos of my life is back to normal. So and it'll be one of those games that every second week I'll make sure I'll be streaming it for sure on a Friday night, getting drunk with you boys and girls. It's been too long. So look, we don't have a lot of time because there's so much news for Rainbow Six this week, so we won't have much of a chat about the game itself. We're just going to move straight into the division, otherwise this will end up being a 4-hour podcast and we don't have time for that. So, Cal, you're back playing the division.
Yes.
Patch 1.4 brought you back, or did you wait to 1.5 officially?
No, I joined back on 1.4, which I think can be officially known as the redeeming patch.
Yes.
So for those who don't know the division, probably one of the biggest criticisms of the game pre 1.4 was the fact that it took an inordinate amount of ammo to take down even some of the basic enemies. When you started getting into some of the veteran and named guys, it literally just was just stupid, which meant that it kind of limited to you what builds you could take, and it really limited the gear sets that are set up. So
You pretty much had to min-max yourself to
Yeah.
be any kind of chance at the high level stuff. And then in player versus player mode, it was you had to min-max and you had to have
Yeah.
the exact build, and that was it.
Yeah, there was like a one build for one setup, one build for another, and that was that. And everything just seemed to be a grind, and it is a loot based shooter, so you do expect some grinding, but it basically stayed as it was. What 1.4 did is they went back and they went through they think they got like 11 or 12 guys from across the world. Basically took them over to I think it's the German studios for Swedish studios for
Yes,
the Swedish
yes,
studios, massive, yep. And then basically sat them down and said, all right, guys, and they showcased effectively a reworking of the whole time to kill mechanic, and a bunch of other bits and pieces. They tweaked a bucket load of stuff, went through a whole PTS program, which they never did with a lot of the other previous variants or
I actually
revisions.
wrote the article, the review of Underground, and I said they need to do a public test server, and I was very skeptical that Ubisoft would let them, because it's pretty much saying, hey, play the game, the advanced content for free. Or not for free, you still had to have the game, but here, play everything before we launch it. And I didn't think that they had the balls to do that, and I'm very glad that they did, because they had a 4-week sort of extensive push on 1.4 before it launched on the public test server.
Yeah, and probably the only criticisms I got to that, to a degree, is that some podcasters started making kind of ambit claims against, and criticism against what was going in the public test server without actually really making it, sort of putting a big caveat on the front and going, guys, this is the public test server, so I'm just letting you know that this is what I'm running on. And it kind of started a sky is falling, and a bunch of PS4 people got the shits, and people got the shits at the podcast, the normal shenanigans that goes on online. Anyway, long story short, 1.4 came out and it completely changed what they call the time to kill. So it basically meant that you required less weaponry to less ammo to kill particular
so it took away
bosses.
They're still bullet sponges, but they're not as bad as what they were, which is one
That's
of the
right.
big complaints of the game for a long time. So.
That's right. And the other big important thing is they completely revamped the loot dropping.
Loot is so good now.
I think the first weekend of 1.4, everyone was just dancing in green stuff in gear set. It was just and because one of the other biggest criticisms of pre 1.4 was, if you played a certain element of the game, be it underground or going and doing HVTs, it limited to what gear sets you could get. So, the old adage was, if you played daily HVTs, you pretty much all got sentry gear and got bored batshit real quickly. If you wanted to go and get anything of any worth, you had to go and do the incursions, which, unless you had a team that actually had half a clue, was inherently painful. So,
don't talk to me about incursions. How many hours did we lose for no loot in that bloody... What was the first?
Falcon Lost. I gave myself a coronary. Trying to finish that goddamn thing. Anyway,
so many times we rage quit after about 3 hours. It was pathetic because you got no loot unless you finished it. And anyway,
bad old days. Yep. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. So, okay. So the other thing that came out in 1.4. Is they did a bunch of tweaking to weaponry, changed a bunch of stats, and they also changed some of the gear set stats, which I won't go into detail unless you want to read patch notes. What 1.5 did though, and it came out relatively quickly, which was quite interesting because 1.4,
it was a 2-week turnaround pretty much from 3-week turnaround from 1.4 to 1.5.
Yeah. So it was very quick. So people went, oh, hey, hang on a second. The novelty hadn't worn off yet, which was impressive. 1.5 brought out, for the people that bought the DLC or the Season Pass, survival mode. And survival mode is effectively hardcore. It basically added... It's a scenario whereby... funnily enough, I think the golden rule, without being too many spoilers in the Division, is don't get into a helicopter because it's guaranteed to get shot down. Black Hawk, it's like Black Hawk down again.
This is the third major story point where the helicopter goes down in the game.
Yeah.
And it's not been out for a year.
Actually, technically, it's the fourth because if you include the final boss in the game in the story mode, you actually have to shoot them down. So basically, the moral of the story is that people are really
Spoilers,
hard
by
to
the way.
kill. Yeah, people are really hard to kill. Blackhawks are really easy to shoot down. Anyway, anyway, so you get into one point. Basically, the scenario is you're meant to go get some antigen that's been left in the retroviral thing that's been left in the dark zone. You are part of its squad. Funnily enough, I don't think it actually gets shot down. The Muppet flies
No,
into
it's
a.
a billboard.
That's
flies
right.
Into you.
Yeah, it's FOV damage. It's flying foreign object damage. Anyway, funnily enough, the helicopter goes down. You end up basically alone, cold, and you basically have to try and not only you have to try and deal with. You've got no weaponry, no anything.
Nah, you are
You have-
stripped back to the
Yeah.
bare minimum.
You have to battle it, but on top of what normally happens in PvE, you have to battle the cold. You have to manage cold, so you don't end up with any kind of thermal gear. You're in the middle of some superstorm, which is like -40, which means then that every time you go outside, you almost get instant frostbite. You then have to go find barrels to get warm. You have to you have to craft stuff to keep yourself warm. So you have to manage that. You have to manage hunger, and the other thing too is you've now become infected with the virus, which means then that you have to then
It's
do
not
things.
the virus, but it's a virus. It's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, you got a bad case of the flu. I don't know, or the lurgy or something. Yeah, like
It
big
pretty
night on
much
the
acts
terps
as
beforehand.
the time limit for the whole game, so it keeps it to
Basically,
sort of
yeah.
under an hour.
Yeah, but what it means is you don't have all of the. Yeah, it makes it far more realistic. There's a lot of resource management. It's a lot of time management. There's risk versus reward. Do I go down and try and take down the gold guy I've just seen, or do I run for it? Because the other thing I've noticed too, particularly when you get up to the higher end near where you finish the mission, the guys come out of nowhere, and because you don't have any form of like radar or detection or anything else like that, you don't know that they're coming. So there's been a few times you just get ambushed. So it's a really good mode it's not a really good mode for grinding for loot. What it is actually a really good mode for just having an experience that's different from the standard grind. So if you're getting sick of playing, doing the lap of the map and doing all the named bosses, then doing your daily HVTs and all that kind of crap, a game of survival is really it's kind of bordering on, and I think Arex did a really good YouTube vid about tips for it, and he used the example of it's a lot like the Hunger Games in elements, where you are trading off.
Definitely.
Do I trade off going and chasing where the helicopter went to go and pick up cool ammo, cool weaponry, or do I go and skirt around that because that's where everyone's going to be anyway, and there's going to be bad guys that shoot me. So it's not bad. Yeah,
You can do it in player versus player, or you can do it in player versus environment mode. So
that's right.
Especially in player versus player, you don't go to the helicopter crash site, people.
No.
Just don't.
No. And to be brutally honest, I unless you are have your wits about you, I wouldn't touch PvP with a barge pole until you've really know the map well.
You only get the 1.2 multiplier for the reward for doing it.
Yeah, risk versus
If it was
reward isn't there.
1.5, yeah, I'd consider it, but not 1.2. It's just not worth it.
Probably the other point to make too is that the whole mechanic tends itself towards solo play versus group play, whereas something like the Underground is a far better experience with a team. Survival, because of the way that the loot management works, like once you open a box of fabric, it doesn't get normally in normal game mode, it gets shared amongst the three of you. Everyone can open the same box and get the same and get varying different things, but the box is still available. Once it's open
Every loot box in the world is just one item in it.
That's right.
If other people beat you to it, or your group of 4 gets there, there's one piece to share between everyone. So
yeah, and if you're not managing, yeah, and if you're not managing it is frustrating. If you're not managing the that resource amongst your team well, you can end up with people that are effectively glass cannons that like they've got some uber weapon, but they just get mown down in a second because they've got no armor and no protection. So it's a good. I applaud Massive for giving it a go, and actually because I think it has brought. I mean, I think the stat I saw the other day is that Ubisoft are claiming now they may have retracted that, but they were basically getting levels that were very similar to launch.
Yep.
Whether or not that was, I think they kind of retracted that afterwards, but
They have retracted it. I don't know exactly what the figures are, but there definitely is, like, as far as Armed goes, what the core four or five of us are playing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Which we all walked away sort of after Underground, which is 1.3. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
basically
look,
sat and didn't play it for like a couple of months. So it has brought a lot of us back, and it is piqued our interest. The only other comment I'd make is that in 1.5 they brought out they did two things as well with gear sets. They reworked the blind gear set because nobody used it, and changed it into a what do they call it? They renamed it. I can't remember off the top of my head.
oh, well,
Anyway, basically they changed the functionality of it. They also added a new gear set, which basically allows you with when you've got a four-piece gear set to actually run the ballistic shield and have an SMG, which I know that with some of the new named gear and also some of the new gold stuff is actually makes the ballistic shield pretty much indestructible now. So I think a few people are really keen on using that as a bit of
I
a
want
tanking.
that.
It's good.
I
It's
love the
good.
ballistic shield.
Yeah.
I really did. I tried
And
to make it work so many times.
and it does now. And this is probably the one final point I make. The 1.4, 1.5 rejig actually brought back rolls. So as we talked about before, pre 1.4, 1.5, you literally had two builds that were meta. You had nothing else.
Yeah.
You're really useless using anything else unless you're just screwing around. Now there are people coming out with dedicated healer builds, dedicated DPS builds, dedicated tank builds, and each are different in their use. And you can actually see teams setting themselves up and going, right, we'll run two tanks, to a healer and a
Just
DPS
don't
for that
forget,
reason.
You've got Rainbow Six, which we just talked about, is the one shot, one kill, high end shooter in the Tom Clancy series. The Division
Only
is
if it's a
the
headshot.
role playing game. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if it's a headshot, yeah. But the Division is the role playing game. It's not a shooter. It's not anything else. It's a role playing game at heart in the Tom
Yeah.
Clancy world. So to see those kind of builds come back into it is really good because pretty much you had to get as much armor, as much health as you could, and you're pretty much indestructible, especially if you're running the tank tissue build that everyone was seemed to be running. So to finally see healers and proper tanks and all that kind of stuff coming back into it is really at the heart of what this game is because it is a role playing game. That's what everyone
Agreed.
seems to forget about the Division.
Yeah.
It's just it's dressed up as a third person shooter, but it's a role playing game.
To use the Blizzard, like another gaming house, a Blizzard analogy, Rainbow Six is to Overwatch as to what Diablo 3 is to the Division. It's that similar kind of analogy. I mean, completely different, scenarios and top down versus third person and all that kind of crap, but that's where the kind of thing sits. And it's great. It is refreshing to, go, yep, I want to run my 4 Alpha Bridge, I want to run an LMG, I want to waste people, but I can have someone sit next to me. Big shout out to Grumpy Bear, who's my little ballistic shield buddy. He's happy to run around with a ballistic shield and have his full setup with his, indestructible shield and his handgun.
Yep. And
So, yeah.
look, I've done that before in the past, and that was the problem with pre 1.4 is I'd have this build that I loved and it was going around and it was sticky bomb and seeker mines. You just had a lot of fun with it, but to actually play an incursion or anything like that, I had to completely change my build because that wasn't optimized and it wasn't even able to be used. Like I tried my best to get it, but it just wasn't efficient, so it couldn't be used. So I had two builds, one serious build and one the build I like to play. So that's sort of seems to have gone now, which is good. But we won't spend too much time. Like I said, once again, it's the first episode, so we're sort of we're missing out on all the general chit chat, but we'll get into that hopefully next fortnight. But Ghost Recon Wildlands, they dropped a video today on us.
Oh boy!
And they also opened up registrations for open beta. So if you're listening to this now, go to ghostrecon.com. We'll probably get you there. If that, go onto my Twitter and you'll see the link. Actually, all three of us have the link through our Twitter for the beta registrations.
I think all of us retweeted it.
Yeah, definitely sign up for it now because
I don't think I did.
Obviously, you're an idiot.
Yep.
He will have it. Please sign up for it because they're talking about a couple of weeks. When I read an interview that the beta could go live. So get in there. Hopefully, you get picked and get to play it fairly soon. But the video they dropped today was a mission briefing, sort of getting everyone hyped up a little bit for it because they're getting a bit close. A bit of a summary of the Ghost Recon Wildlands itself. So I'll play that for you now.
This is Operation Kingslayer. Listen up. Our field of operation is Bolivia. Dense jungles, freezing mountains, and salt flats. If you don't watch your back, you won't leave it alive. Your target is the Santa Blanca drug cartel. Their network relies on fear, violence, and intimidation. You'll need to destroy them from the inside, destabilize each aspect of their operations: production, smuggling, influence, and security, to bring them to their knees. You have full autonomy. You pick your targets. You decide how to take them out. Just get it done. Gather your intel. Learn who the players are. Learn their methods. Then destroy them. To make this op a real party, the local military force, Unidad, are on the cartel's payroll. They've been fighting it out with a low-rent rebel group called the Qataris 26. You want to survive? These underfunded and under-equipped rebels are your new best friends. You gotta think. You gotta be strategic. No one will come when you call for help. Use what you can to get the job done. You have your arsenal and every vehicle you can find at your disposal. And don't be afraid to throw out the playbook. Each of you is an elite warfighter, but together, you have the strength to take down an army. And remember, Ghosts, credit is failure. You will burn the Santa Blanca drug cartel to the ground, but no one will know who was holding the match.
So, boys, does that get you excited for Ghost Recon Wildlands or what?
Yep. Considering it's going to be
Yes.
basically a hell of a lot warmer than the Division, yes.
It also gets me excited for Skyrim, but hey,
Oh, whatever.
I just
your
want to go
wife
fighting
voices
with
it.
my wife.
So explain
Hey,
to people that reference that don't know.
just clarify: fighting with, not actually fighting your
Yeah.
wife. Okay, well, yeah,
Fighting
we condone
alongside my
domestic-
wife. Yes.
There you go.
So-
yeah.
The voice actor in the mission briefing trailer is the same one, I believe, that does Ayla from Skyrim, one of the companions.
Yes, you know that 5-year-old game that I've bought 3 times now.
Only 3 times.
Yeah. Oh no,
Sucker.
I'm disgusted by that. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast. So look, Ghost Recon. We're talking about Rainbow Six being the high-end shooter, the Division being the role-playing game. This seems to be the third-person shooter for the Tom Clancy world, and it is an open-world game. Massive open-world game. They're claiming it's their biggest ever open world that they've produced so far. Set in Bolivia, as they've said, and you pretty much take down the cartel however you want. 4-player co-op. There is multiplayer in there, but they haven't really said much about that yet. And I really don't care too much for the multiplayer, but I'll probably end up doing it. But on a scale of 1 to 10, Josh, how excited are you for Wildlands?
Well, considering what I was very excited for the Division, and it let me down, and I'm yet to get back into it to see all this stuff that Cal's just talked about. I'm a little bit hesitant, but I am very excited for it because it does look very nice, and from what I can see, they're sort of going for the long-term strategy on this, something that can go across a long time.
That's what I seem to the vibes I seem to get from it. Like, it's definitely gonna have a single player story to it, but I see them being able to open up extra more story and mission down the track. I really do wish they'd somehow get the Nemesis system in there, and it'd be almost like infinite possibilities.
Why
But anyway,
why don't more games have the Nemesis system? Holy shit!
no.
That thing
you
is
imagine this game
awesome.
with it,
Oh my
though?
god. So you shot me in the kneecap. I'm going to screw you over. It's like, I'm going to shoot you in the other kneecap now. Remember that, bitch?
Now, Cal,
Yo.
scale of 1 to 10, what do you reckon? Are you pretty excited about this?
Given the fact that I completely underrated the Division before it came out at I think it was when we were talking about this at PAX last year, and I went, oh yeah, Division, whatever, and then got completely sideswiped by that. I'm going to go about a little bit above middle of the road and say about an 8. The video today, I think, and I made mention of this just before, the thing I liked about it is it looks like they've concentrated on gameplay and haven't gone the full-blown shiny, which can sometimes get in the road of actually a really good game.
Yeah, it does show that. Look, it's a massive open world game, and those games just don't look shiny as others. So
no, and if they've concentrated on gameplay and they haven't concentrated on the, rendering it for a 4K screen that no one can afford, count me in.
Yeah, cool. So, you don't have a PS4, do you?
No, I'm console agnostic.
Because me and Josh, I'll be playing this on PS4, I guarantee. But I'm definitely considering a PC version of it because I know the ARM boys will definitely be playing this. This reminds me a lot of Armor, but a lot more friendly and the third-person view of it, where you've just got this open map and you can sort of do the objective how you want to, and it lends itself to that great 4-player tactical gameplay so much. Now, I mentioned before the podcast about the same mission they've showed twice. So they've showed it the daytime chaos, the stupid set piece, the stupid scripted talking was pathetic, but yeah,
was that one where they used like radio calls and all that bullshit, and they were like, the guys were playing it, but they were trying to be too pro. Yeah, that was a bit sad.
Yeah. It was very sad, but they did that mission again just recently with 4 of the devs from the game, and it was more, there was a guy just talking over the top saying, this is what this person's doing and this is how they're doing it. It was a lot better. And they basically did it at night, showed how the storm gave them extra coverage and they were doing stealth. They took out the generator, took down the lights in the place. They used the militia. They freed them, the local rebels, and they started causing a fight, which let them get out pretty much unseen. They were using the big thing that I was excited to see is they hadn't shown it yet, but the sync shooting, where in Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, no, the one before that, where you can basically tag your 4 people and then put the number over their heads, and that's who shoots them. So
that's where I've seen that before. Yes.
Yeah, so that was it was a 360 version of Ghost Recon, and I love that. That I just had so much fun just finding 4 guys, hooking them up, saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and counting down, shoot, and then the AI took them out as well. But they're bringing that into co-op, so you'll be able to line it up and go, okay, so I know I'm 1, Josh is 2, Cal's 3, and let's say Grumpy's there 4. You just tag them up, count down, bang, 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 and you're straight down. It's just going to add such an extra, because that's in Armor. You're sitting there going, I'll take the guy on the left to the right. I'll take the guy in the center. Which one's that again? And it just takes too long. This is just simple.
They've crossed over. Which one's center now?
Exactly. So it seems like they're making it very cooperative friendly. So
cool.
And all the stuff they see, you'll be able to see where the blue people are, who are the people in your squad, are on the map at all times, pretty much. So you can see where they're traveling. Like, I recommend you watching that video of version of the mission rather than the other one, because like I said, it wasn't the scripted talking, and he actually explained what was going on and why they were doing it, and it just gives you a whole different perspective of the one mission and why I think I'll be playing this game and the missions over and over again, because you can do them however you want. And
I'm just going to say this now, I'm going to want to do a lot of night missions.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you don't pick, we'll do this at night. We'll wait until night.
Yeah.
Okay, sun's going down. Okay, it's dark now. Let's decide to go in, and then all of a sudden the storm will come through, and all of a sudden you've got extra stealth, and it's
I see a few Leroy Jenkins moments happening. I can imagine like a team of 4 setting up this set piece. Yeah, team of 4 set piece coming up, and then all of a sudden this dude in a buggy just comes barreling through the center, just Leroy the hell out of it.
I promise I will play the worst banjo music I can find if I ever do that. Just through the mic.
And you know, a drunken Friday night's Ghost Recon Wildlands, it's going to happen every mission.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's set this one up. Oh, Josh, what are you doing? What? Oh my God. Okay, everyone go.
God damn you,
Hey, at least I
Josh.
got chicken.
Yeah. So it's look, we can talk about this for hours. We're
Yep.
already 7 or 8 minutes over on the first episode, so hopefully we'll bring it back in the next couple of weeks. But we'll go into more hopes and dreams for the game and a bit more of an overview of the game next week. This is just, like I said, we had 3 games, 3 big things dropped in the last 2 weeks. So we've got just a barrel full of news for you this week. But next week, I promise we'll get back into the... Oh, sorry, next week, 2 weeks' time, we'll get more back into the casual chat about the game and just what we like and what we don't like about games, what we think, and just general gameplay that we've played. So if you like it, look, like I said, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff with us. All this stuff is on ultrasupermega.com.au. Go support those boys as well. We've got a lot of good content coming out at the moment. We've got our Game of the Year stuff launching next week. So
I am excited for that.
There's some great awards.
Are you putting the tux on for it?
No, I'm not, but I've written a 3,000-word article for it, and
He's dressing like a Chippendale for it. I mean,
that's imagery. That's imagery that's never going to come out of my head.
But yeah, so like I said, support those boys. Now, Josh, where can people find you if they want to find you?
all right, I am King_Chommer on Twitter. Mr. Buttersocks on pretty much anything else like YouTube and Twitch. I am also Evil_Chommers on PSN once they give me back my damn account. Jerks.
Pay your FIFA bill, mate. Just pay your FIFA bill.
No, I didn't pay for it in the first place. Other than that, you can also play games with me on the Xbox One, and I am Delayed Butters.
Yes, if you want to play Rainbow Six with him, that you can get him on Xbox or PS4. So hit him up on both of those.
And once I get that Lenovo Y17 Cube, I'll be on PC.
You better be. That's a promise. Cal, the people, where can they find you besides at arm.com.au? I think the website that still doesn't work.
Just still loitering. Yeah, it's in pieces. Yeah. Twitter, Cal_Heinrich. I have a YouTube channel which is currently very underutilized and feeling rather
I think it'll
neglected.
Get pretty full in 2018 when MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries launches.
Yeah, if it launches in. Yeah, I am officially putting that in the same bucket as Star Citizen. It will be nice when it arrives. Catch me on Uplay on cal.au. Otherwise, loitering around the Ultra Super Mega Discord server.
Yes, go to the Discord server. If you don't have it, tweet at me, which is Wilco's Chill Zone. It is Wilco's Chill Zone again. It was locked on TC for a while there, but it is back to Wilco's Chill Zone. So
damn Russian hackers!
I'll get it for you. But like I said, follow Locked On TC. We will get that set up over the next week. And I forgot to mention, this episode will be on YouTube, on Ultra Super Mega YouTube channel. So type in Ultra Super Mega. I will be putting this up with a bit of background. I think I might do gameplay in the background, but we'll see how it will go. Probably not episode 1. But you can watch it there. You can also find it on iTunes and the website. So keep it locked here, and we will catch you all in 2 weeks' time unless something major happens. But thank you for being awesome, and talk to you soon.
Catch ya.
See yous.
Time to pack it up. My work is done.